Hey there, Uncle Harley. It's Pat Perry, formerly Pat of a few other names, and Oswald, of course, the important one. Just have to say on this very special day that you've always been my most favorite funny uncle. You always had so much joy that you shared with all of our family over the years. It's been great. I have to tell you a big thanks too for the time that Cousin Joan talked you and Uncle Tom into pulling my toy hauler trailer all the way to Alaska, picking it up in Canada and pulling it up north with Uncle Tom's great big truck rig. And with the final destination, of course, was dropping to me the trailer for my ice cream business that I used for many years. Thank you. And also your main destination was Fairbanks, because I think Uncle Tom really wanted to play golf under the midnight sun in Fairbanks. That was pretty cool. Especially to the time you guys sat there at Big Lake at my house there in that community and chatted with me about my dad and my mom and how they met, and told me stories I'd never heard. And I definitely didn't know that my mom had been his second choice, but that definitely turned out really well. So that was a great story to hear, along with all the others about the farm life and the outhouse and all the funny things you guys told me about. It was terrific. I have been fortunate to be the caretaker of my mom's diary. A few years ago, it got to me, and it's just been filled with special thoughts of her from that time, kind of when she met Dad, and also when they got married and took off, and their life there in Bellingham. Pretty cool. And her church group and things along that way. It was pretty nice. And it's fun now and then I crack open her diary and take a peek on her life. This is her diary, Theo Morgan. It sits here on my desk. Anyhow, so your birthday is a big one, and so thrilled that you have made it to 90 and looking strongly at the next big one. I also want to let you know that you were a huge stimulus for something that I undertook a few years ago that I'm so happy I did, was when you did your interview with the Sons of Norway and sent me that CD. It got me thinking, and I did a similar interview on video for my dad, Bob Smythe, and it is now on YouTube in 4 chapters of his life. It's just the best. And I did it at the perfect time before he started having accidents and slowly slipping away. So he was great and told all the stories of the different parts of his life in segments with over 4 days. And so I have 4 one-hour videos there on YouTube about that. Anyway, enough about that. You were the one that got me motivated to do that, and I never shared that. So thank you so much. And all that being said, now it's my turn to give you a Sven and Ollie joke. In honor of your great humor, we're sharing Norwegian or Scandinavian jokes in your honor for this big 90th birthday. Okay, here's mine. One day, Sven was complaining to Ollie that he didn't get a girlfriend, and none of the ladies, ever looked his way. Ollie said, "Well, don't you know, you got to do something sexy to attract her." That night, Ollie looked out into the barn and saw Sven dancing seductively in front of the John Deere. Ollie hollered, "Sven, what the heck are you doing, old buddy?" And Sven replied, "I'm taking your advice. I'm doing something sexy to attract her." Well, Happy birthday, Uncle Harley. And I hope you're enjoying this day immensely and all those around you. Love you very much. Bye from Alaska.
Uncle Harley, this is Dennis. I am Pat's husband, and I am a bush pilot in Alaska. And so I selected this joke because I thought it was really applicable and thought you would like it. It's about Ollie and Sven. They're flying a plane over northern Minnesota. Ollie is the pilot, and they're approaching their destination. Sven looks out the window and sees the runway in the distance. He notices the runway looks rather short and says, "You know, Ollie, that looks like a really short runway." Ollie replies, "Oh, don't worry, this is a small plane after all. There's plenty of space for us to land." As they get closer, Sven sees that the runway is indeed very short, and he says, "Ollie, I don't know about this. It looks like that runway is too short." Ollie says, "Okay, I'll press the brakes as hard as I can when we come down. How about that?" But Sven isn't reassured very much. At this point, he can see that the runway is almost certainly too short for them to land. He says, "Ollie, this runway is way too short. We're going to crash." Ollie says, "Oh, shut up. I'll put the plane in reverse as soon as we land. That'll do it." So the plane touches down, and despite Ollie's best efforts, they go off the runway and into the fence. The plane flips over a few times and is heavily damaged, but luckily both Ollie and Sven are relatively unharmed. The two climb out of the wreckage, and Sven says, "You see, I was right. This runway was too short." Ollie looks up and down the runway, and then he says, "Ah, it was really short, but look at how wide it is." Happy birthday.
Hi Harley, how you doing? Happy birthday. We love you. Thank you for stopping by when you were on your way to Surprise and spending some time with us. It meant a lot to us.
Hi there, Harley. Happy birthday. You finally made it to 90. Wow. Did you know that Ollie and Sven went walking in the woods and came across some tracks? While they were arguing about whether they were wolf or bear tracks, a train ran over them. Oh!
I know you've heard about Ollie and Lena, froze to death at the drive-in theater they went to see closed for the season. Love you, Harley. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hi, Uncle Harley. It's Courtney Rubish, Patricia Perry's daughter. I remember hanging out with you when we all were in Norway for the family reunion. I have a Ollie and Sven joke for you. Ollie sees his first pizza for the very first time. He says, "Who threw up on the left side?" Happy 90th birthday, Uncle Harley.
Greetings, Uncle Harley. This is Brent Lean, youngest son of Bonnie Oswald Lean, wishing you a very happy birthday from Texas. It's crazy to think that you were probably about my age the last time I saw you, but fond memories and great stories. 90 years is a heck of accomplishment to be on this spinning marble. Here's to 90 more. I want to give you one of my favorite Norwegian jokes. So Sven and Ollie go to the lumber yard. Sven says to Ollie, "You know what we need, go in there and get it." So Ollie goes in there. The clerk comes up to him and says, "Good afternoon, sir, can I help you?" Ollie says, "Oh yeah? I need 4x2. The clerk says, "Do you mean 2x4? Ollie says, "Hold on." Ollie goes out to the car, checks with Sven. Comes back in, says to the clerk, Yeah, 2x4. And the clerk says, "Okay, well, how long do you need it?" Ollie thinks for a second, goes outside, comes back in. Says, "Oh, well, you see, we're building a house. We're going to need it for a long time." Just let that sink in for a minute. It's a great joke. So again, wishing you a very happy birthday. I do this once a year for a cousin of mine. And so I think that I get a little bit better every year, but I'm going to try it. Gratulerer med dagen. From Texas, sending you our love.
Happy birthday, Uncle Harley. This is Dustin Absher, Pat's son. I saw my cousin Brent. He was sporting some Norwegian gear, so I think I got this in Oslo a while back. So this is about the best I could do. I'm packing up. I live in Colorado, and we're moving to in a mountain area here soon. So to try to get out of the high heat of the Denver, Colorado area. So I packed that all my Dale sweat. Like I have a couple of sweaters and stuff like that. So, but it would have been kind of funny. Hope you're doing well. I wish I could be in Norway. Sounds pretty awesome. Here's my joke. Long story short, to avoid the tax man in repossession, Lena goes into town to be a hooker for the night. After getting home at daybreak, Ollie asks, "How'd you do?" Lena says, "Pretty good. I made $120.50. Ollie looks a little confused and asks, "Who gave you 50 cents? Lena, equally confused, replied, "They all did." Happy 90th birthday. I wish, again, I could be there.
We've come to the end of our humorous video. I hope you enjoyed the Sven and Ollie jokes as much as we had fun making them for you. Hope the birthday has been grand and you've gotten lots of great hugs and kisses, and know many are directed towards you today. Happy birthday, Uncle Harley. We all love you.